the second session of a series of conversations with women in tango. My name is Nadia Tapia. I am from Chile, and for 6 years now I have been living and teaching in Helsinki, Finland. Last week I started this cycle of conversations with tango women, meaning women who work in tango, and I wanted it to be a relaxed conversation to learn about my guests and to have guests from different parts of the world and with different backgrounds and also different tango stories. We started last week with the wonderful Noelia Barsi, who made really interesting points on how the role of talking, having conversations is a little bit lost in the tango learning process, and that we are often focusing in technique and in the steps, etc., but we have few times the chance to talk. So the point of this series of conversations is exactly that. I really couldn't agree more with what she said. So welcome. If you're just arriving, this is a series of conversations that I will be having, and initially it's going to be 4 weeks, and then we will see. Maybe I think we're going to make it a little bit longer because it's really fulfilling and interesting. So my second guest, let me just so my second guest is a very elegant dancer and teacher who has coined this motto: elegance is simple. As a teacher, she is known for her clear and thorough explanations, drawing insights also from other movement disciplines. She is originally from Ukraine and has been living and teaching in Moscow for some years now. And she has toured and teach and performed, of course, around Russia and Eastern Europe, and also here in Finland. So I'm happy to introduce to you Elena Sergienko. So thank you, Elena. Hi, and thank you for accepting this invitation.
Hello, Nadia. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for such a nice introduction. I wouldn't say better.
Okay, thanks. So how are you? Where are you? How are you spending this current time?
Fine, actually. All this time I'm staying in Moscow in my apartment with my cat. I really rarely go out because of these restrictions. And so just having rest first, now having fun and starting to work more and more because people are stuck at homes and they want to dance, and I really want to help them dance. So it's like that.
So you're teaching online?
Yes.
Okay.
I wasn't doing it for the first month, but now, yes, I'm doing it already because people want it, and it helps really to them, and it helps me to, stay on this wave, not to be
Yes,
lost.
yes. Yes, I understand. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? How was it that you started dancing tango?
Um, Actually, it's a nice story because I fell in love with a guy. I really liked him. Yes, and I wanted to spend more time with him, and he started to be interested in tango. And well, I always liked dancing, so for me it was a good opportunity to spend more time. And then he found some really strange school, like a ballroom dancing uh, kind of school, and we went there, and at the first lesson they told us, everything. We've learned everything: ocho back, ocho forward. We did everything. And yes, at the end they told us that the most beautiful part of women's body is, her butt, and we should take care of that. So it was really funny lesson. Yes, but then actually it was a small break after that funny lesson, and he found another real tango school. I think it was the best back then in Kiev. It was in Ukraine. So he started first, and then I joined him, and yes, I fell in love with this.
Okay, okay, nice. So what was it that, because I mean, you had this lesson which was a little bit, well, would you say
Strange.
funny, a little bit weird, but in a way, like there was something there still, like maybe, I mean, another way to react maybe would have been to not go to any more lessons. So what was it there in that lesson that, despite all of this, still made you continue or try again?
Well, at that point, for me, it wasn't about dancing yet. It was about this guy, actually. So
Okay.
after that, yes, after this class, I had a little injury, so I had to
Mhm.
recover. I had to stay at home, and in those 2 months, he found a nice, a real one,
Mhm.
tango school, and then I went to see it. I went to Milonga. I went to just to understand what that is, and then when I realized that all of them are improvising, and it's not a plan, and it's something that happens right now, and it is really connected to music, then I fell in love with this, so I wanted to continue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So you have a dancing background. How do you feel that that helped with your tango?
I have a dancing background, but I wouldn't say it's that substantial, because I used to dance when I was a little girl. It was like from 5 till 8 or 9, maybe. It's not a lot, but yet I think it helps me now. It really helps me because this is the age when all the patterns are really built. So um, um, from my experience, my teaching
Mm.
experience, I can say that people who had anything connected to dancing, yes, dancing mostly, sports is a little bit different thing. So anything connected to dancing in childhood helps. Yes,
Mm.
even if you had this big 20 years or 30 years break, it still helps.
Mm. Okay. How was the dancing environment there in Ukraine, in Kiev, where you started dancing? Were there a lot of dancers? Um, how was it? How do you, now that you can compare it with other scenes? Like how was it back then?
It was really nice. There was few dancing people, I would say, and there are not a lot of people now in Kiev dancing, but back then it was even less. But
Mm.
it was nice because all of us, we knew each other, and we were friends with each other, and even if we had some small wars, I don't know, between schools or between some styles or something, it still was really friendly.
Okay.
So I'm glad I started there,
Mm.
because now, for example, I live in Moscow, and it's totally different thing. And I'm not sure how I would survive here, for example, if I would just start it now.
Mm.
I'm, yeah.
Okay. Why do you say that? Like, what makes you say that? What is it about the tango scene in Moscow that you find that maybe would be a little bit difficult for you?
Well, first of all, a lot of people. I mean, when you come to a party to Milonga where there are 20 people, it's okay. All of them are new, but they see you. They are usually friendly to you. They want to do something for you to feel warm. But when you come to Milonga where you have 200 people or 300 people, it's easy to get lost.
Mm.
So I'm just not sure that this kind of environment would attract me a lot. But
Mm.
it's not like that for everyone. I mean, for
Mm.
somebody, it's this competitive environment is a really good thing.
Okay. So you feel like it's competitive there, like more
It
than
is.
collaborative, it's a little bit more competitive.
It is. It is. It really is. And I think it became more competitive for the last 5 or years or so.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about that, about you moving to Moscow, because you were working in something else. You have a master's degree in economics, and you were
Yeah.
working in a bank. And then at some point, you decided to start working with Tango. And then at some point after that, you decided to move to Tango. So can you tell us a little bit about these decisions regarding
Yeah. Well, for me, it was really natural because first I was lucky to meet my first partner in my first tango group, and we started to practice. And we started to practice a lot, and we started to take more and more classes. And then I can't even remember how this idea popped up because in my memory it sticks that it was his idea, but he says that it was my idea to come up with the school. So I'm not sure
Okay.
exactly how it happened, but we decided to open a school, our
Mhm.
own. And by that time, we already had, well, our friends that wanted to study with us and to continue to go to this school. So when we opened, we had a really good support from community. It helped. And then I started to like to work more and more, to give more and more classes. And at some point, it became really difficult to do two jobs at the same time.
Mm.
So when, I woke up in the morning and I thought, I don't want to go to the bank. And I started to find out some reasons not to go there. And then I had some health issues because if you work without any weekends or, I used all of my free time to dance and to do something. And in 2 years, I was a little bit exhausted.
Mm.
And that was the point where I understood that I can give it a shot. I can try to go to tango only. And actually, it is really connected to my moving here, and because my it was my next partner. He was from Moscow,
Mhm.
and he was my boyfriend back then, and we were discussing the possibility of me moving here. And then it was May, like now, and I came to him just to visit him. And I met his friends, uh, and who were actually he was working in a big company. I'm not sure if we can say names here. Is it an advertising or something? But it is really known. It's called Gala Dance. It's
All
really
right.
big
Yeah.
one. Yeah, it's really big one in here. He was working there, and he was looking for a partner to work with. So he was describing me all the opportunities there, and then I saw this opportunity for myself. So I tried. They they said okay, come and work, and I said okay. Then I will just move, and that's it.
Okay. And so you had your own school in Ukraine, in Kiev, and then
Yeah.
you decided to leave that and start working in Moscow.
Yes, to try something different because it's really different um, environment. I mean, if we speak of doing something for a living, you have to be sure that you can earn enough
Yeah.
to live. Yes, it wasn't impossible in Ukraine back then to do
Mm.
just tango and to earn enough money to live.
Mm.
So yes, I decided to try here.
Okay. Okay. Nice. So teaching and dancing, are a related skill, of course, but they are in a way different. So you can have a very good dancer who is a more or less good teacher, but maybe also not so good teacher, or vice versa, a good teacher who is not such a great dancer, etc. So you do both, as most people who work in
Yeah.
tango you do teaching and dancing. What aspect of each of these ones do you enjoy, and which one of both do you like more?
Um, Nice question. I love both, actually. Yes, I want to do both. And well, my circumstances were that I perceive myself more as a teacher
Mm-hmm.
because for some years, for 2 or 3 years, I didn't have a partner to work with. So I didn't have any opportunity to really practice and in making shows, in making exhibitions, and so on. So I started learning a lot about different things. And I've learned a lot about body and physics and all related topics. And I really changed my approach to teaching. And it was, for me, it was a good time actually. I missed dancing a lot and dancing what I call it I miss the deep dancing, when you practice with one partner, you can build something different than from what you can dance in milongas anyway. So I
Mm-hmm.
missed that, but I used this opportunity to become a teacher. I
Mm-hmm.
love everything in teaching. I love seeing people changing. So when they come to you and you see their bodies maybe are not that free, and you see something is missing, and then you work, you try different ideas, you find this key, and it changes everything. And for me, it's still like a miracle.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy it.
Okay, interesting. So that reminds me of something that also Noelia mentioned, who is actually there. She says, "Hello, chicas." Hello,
Hey,
Noelia.
hello to her too.
So she said that she also enjoyed watching how the sometimes the world of tango or the contact with tango would make the people change a little bit more, like in their own, like the way in which they behaved a little bit. Like sometimes they were a little shy, and then maybe she kind of observed that people would change a little bit and become a little bit more social and a little bit more secure about themselves. Do you agree with that?
Yes, yes, I feel the same, and um, it's not only social thing. It's even how people feel themselves.
Mm,
Because when they change body patterns, they start moving differently. I mean, even outside of dancing, and they feel different, and they often write me about it. So
mm,
something is changing, and this part of my job I really love when I
mm,
get the response from people that something has changed. Usually it's like, oh my God, everything has changed. I breathe normally. It's so
mm.
nice and I love it. And
Yeah.
these moments I'm happy.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Well, movement is very healing, actually.
Yeah,
So,
itself.
and what about the dancing? What do you enjoy about the performing part?
For me, before tango, I used to do a lot of different things. I used to try a lot of different things because I love music. I
Mm-hmm.
used to learn piano. I love moving. Before tango, I had aikido, and it's actually it helps a lot now in tango. And I love art, and all of these things for me. mm, are present in tango.
Mm-hmm.
So there is connection to music, there is connection to another person in body wise and mind wise, and there is something that we draw with our bodies, and I love everything about it actually. But for me, especially because I love jazz music and I love the idea of jazz, of the free improvisation and contact with another person is really important for me, and I think it's magical. and it's never enough.
Mm. Okay. So, what do you want to show when you are dancing? And thinking a little bit more about, because you're just talking, and I think you're talking about the social part. Well, maybe also
Yeah.
the improvisation is there for performance, but I wonder, like, what is it that you like to show when you are in a performance? What do you think it's important that is there? And why do you choose certain things before others, etc.? What do you think about this, like when you're performing?
Um, well, with my present partner, you know
Mhm,
him, Sergey,
mhm,
we are trying different things,
mhm,
and we have tried different modes of work, and we tried improvising, we tried a little bit of doing choreography,
mhm,
but both things, um, in both things, one thing is important for me is musicality. I
mhm,
really, when we plan or when we discuss dancing and performing, um, for me, it's really important to be an instrument for
mhm,
music, and for ideas, for emotions I feel in this music.
mhm,
So yes, music is the main thing for me. Well, and of course, I cannot separate it from connection to my
mhm.
partner, because when we do music, we do it together, and it's impossible to do it alone. So it's both things. Yeah.
Okay. How do you prepare yourself before a performance?
Um, I've tried different things too, but with experience, you become less nervous, and well, me for example, and I'm just thinking of people. I'm thinking of, I don't know, I'm thinking that we are together. I don't know how to say it exactly. I'm imagining ourselves and like a big bubble, and I feel that we are sharing it, and it's my way to connect to the public,
Mm,
not only to my partner. It's maybe something I took from the actors
mhm,
techniques, because
mm,
I used to try that too, and they have a lot of different techniques to prepare yourself to present something to the public.
mm.
Yeah,
Okay, good. So if you are just joining us, my name is Nadia. I'm having a conversation with different Tango women, and today I have Elena Sergienko here with me, right over there.
yeah.
So
Hello.
Hi. So you can also ask questions, so we can see all your comments here. And if you want to ask something to Elena, you're welcome to do so. So even though I have, of course, something prepared, we can go over different topics and try and see what happens. So Elena, you have this idea of elegance is simple. This
Yeah.
is what you have on your website, and then also on your YouTube channel, which we are going to show now. Let
Yeah.
me check here.
Well, basically everywhere. I have this idea everywhere.
So here it is, Elegance is Simple by Elena Sergienko, and you have some videos with your current partner, Sergi. So
Yeah.
can you tell us a little bit more about that? Like, why is it that you consider that to be an idea that is important, that elegance is important in tango, and why do you think that it's important to highlight that it's simplicity, like?
Hmm. Well, for me, maybe the most important word among these two is simple, because um, when I was a student, when I was, well, I'm still am a student. I use opportunities to take classes from teachers I like. Uh, and sometimes it was confusing, especially when you start, when someone gives you really complicated ideas. I felt that it is confusing me. And in my teaching, I'm trying to be simple. I cannot say I'm always good at that, because when you want to give a lot to your student, you sometimes forget that you wanted to be really simple and to like use two ideas and not to give all the tango in 1 hour. um, yes, but um, I prefer using simple ideas, and that's something that came to me um, after my hmm, um, education in anatomy and this kind of stuff. Because when I started to investigate it more, I started to understand what people told me before.
Hmm.
And I just thought, why didn't they, I don't know, show me these pictures? Why didn't they just told me in a simple way without, some magical things and so on. So I, in teaching, I'm trying to use this approach to explain in a simple way, and also in dancing. I
Mm-hmm.
sometimes see people dancing like everything, they do a lot of tricks, they do uh, 2000 embellishments in 1 minute, they want to dance everything in music, like every note and so on. And for me, it's not good. There is some point after which it's not good. It's not um, it's not a dance, you just show me everything you can, okay, but it's not what I expected. So in dancing, for me, simplicity is a good thing, and simplicity is actually elegance.
Mm-hmm.
So you take the main idea and you just dance it, and that's it.
Nice. Good. So, do you practice other exercises aside from tango dancing? How do you feel that they are important, and which ones? What do you practice?
um, well, yes, especially now when I'm locked down, I'm trying to do different things. Well, bodies are different, and different bodies require different approaches. So, what I do for me is connected to my experience and my background, and actually, it's more like a normal fitness, but a smart fitness, because now the world of fitness changes. They start to be more scientific, I would say. They use more, again, anatomy and this kind of stuff, and it changes. It becomes really healthy. So
Mm-hmm.
I mostly do that. Nothing extravagant. But before, I tried everything, different kinds of stuff. And Pilates, of course, is really good for tango, and all kinds of exercises for the core. And
Mm-hmm.
also, I do a little stretching, less than I would like to, but yet I'm doing a little. And
Yeah.
of course, it's good for health and for dancing.
Nice. So this series of conversations that I'm having them only with women for a reason. I want to highlight the role of women, and I want to hear women's opinions, women's views. I have the feeling that even though things are changing, there has been is a lot of emphasis in the role of the men, of the leader, generally in tango, and we tend to hear more the views and the ideas from a male perspective, not only in tango, of course, in life. So I want to talk a little bit about the role of woman in tango, and I have a question here from Maria Prokorova, and I'm sure I'm mispronouncing your name, Maria. I'm so sorry. Who wants to ask something, and it's related to that, so it's a good way to open the topic. So, what advice or insights you can give to women coming to the tango world where the environment is competitive because of the role and balance? And what is your own latest, strongest insight about life, not necessarily concerning tango? Wow. Okay. Deep question. So the first one is
Yeah,
advice for somebody coming into tango and facing the competitive environment because of the role imbalance. And the second is, again, the strongest insight about life that you have had lately.
interesting. um, well, about the competitive part, um, I have to be frank, I always was lucky. I was lucky to meet my first partner in my first tango group.
Mhm.
And I still think of him as one of the most talented partners I have ever met in tango. After that, I had one of the best partners, and who was also my boyfriend back then, here. And now I have, for me, one of the best partners again working with. So I was always lucky to have someone I can dance with. I can dance with really well. So to be frankly, I rarely was in a situation when I had to really compete.
Mm,
And I don't really like this.
mm,
I don't like competition um, from the between women. I would say that
mm,
because I had an interesting insight. It was connected to tango, and it was kind of a strong one. Maybe I would like to share it with you. Um, we went, well, actually, I went to take classes from really good teachers, and they did really interesting exercises. It's something from the acting techniques also for actors. They looked at what's going on, and as almost always, it was like maybe two-thirds of of all the group were females.
mhm,
So we had this competitive kind of stuff. And he looked at this and he said, "Okay, guys, I want you to stay here at one wall, and girls will be here." And he told them, "You really have to want this woman, and you really have to want to dance, and you really have to do something to get her, because without this, it doesn't really work. This tango magic." And what we had to do is all of the guys were waiting uh, for one lady. So it was one lady going to this small crowd of men, and all of them had to do something to to conquer her, to get her attention, and she had to choose one of them, and or she could be free not to dance with them, but then they had to compete. And first it was like strange because in communities where you have this big disbalance, a lot of women and a little quantity of men, they are a little lazy.
mm,
They don't really have to do something to get really good dancing with a
mm,
really good follower. So first it was a little bit strange, but then when this game was going on and they switched on, they really changed. And at one moment I was just standing and looking at them because they changed, their bodies changed,
mm.
their eyes begin to sparkle, and they just like out of nowhere they get good posture. They like growing and they really want to dance, and I looked at them, it's like I couldn't recognize them.
Okay.
So yes, it was so interesting for me, and it was so nice. And then I understood that women actually can influence this.
Mm,
If if we stop dancing with someone who is not really good. I'm not saying we should stop dancing at all and dance just with the stars and so on, but let's be frank, sometimes we dance with people we don't want to dance, or who are not, who are not doing anything to dance. So
Mm.
if we stop doing it, and if they start to compete, maybe it changes. Maybe this thing, this balance would change. Maybe they start to want to do something else, to do more, and to dance better. And I think somehow it would attract more male dancers, actually, this kind of environment.
Okay.
So from my personal experience, there is nothing like that I can really recommend, but that's the thing I think would be useful for all the communities, tango communities. Yeah.
So it would be not accepting to dance with anyone, even though it's or to with dance with everyone, when the dancing is not in a quality that you enjoy, but rather even though there isn't too many other people to dance with.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe it sounds like a paradox, but I think that's the only way to change this balance thing.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree
Yeah.
with you. I often see that when there is a lot of unbalance, the ladies they tend to dance a lot with anyone, and sometimes the guys are not even making an effort to, I don't know, obviously this
Yes.
is not the generality, but circulate in the dance floor, like carefully with the follower and with other dancers, etc. And
Yeah.
if you don't do this, like it's really not so nice.
Yeah, and actually, if they don't feel this a little bit of competition or a lot of competition, I don't know, but any competition, they become bored and they leave. They just leave doing something else,
Mm.
maybe even some other dancing. So, and I feel sorry for this. I would love more people to dance,
Yeah,
and
of
more
course.
more good men to arrive here and to stay here and
Hmm.
to continue developing. So yeah.
So you've been working for yourself now for a while. I mean, you have your partner, but you've been living in different cities. So you're still in a way working by yourself in Moscow. How is that
Yeah,
experience, and in particular, how is that experience as a female dancer?
it's good. Well, in all senses. I again was happy and was blessed with people who I meet in tango. For example, in Kiev, when I just started to teach, um, I was more assisting to my partner
Mm-hmm.
because he was initiative. He prepared ideas for the lesson, and I was adding something. Of course, I was saying something for girls, but I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't that active. And then I met a girl, and she really wanted to take classes with me, privates. I didn't do any privates before. We just started to do groups, and that's it, and practice. And I didn't do any privates. But she, I don't know, once in 3 days, she wrote me, "Come on, I want, let's do it." I told her, "I cannot lead. I don't know how to lead. I can give you some interesting things you want to learn." And she said, "Just let's do it. That's it."
Mm-hmm.
And we started, and I started trying to lead her, and it was nice. And actually, naturally, I started to lead. I started to try something else, and that was really nice. And the second big step for me was changing um, my place of live and coming to Moscow, because Gala Dance is a really big company, and a lot of teachers there, a lot of everything going on there. And from there, I have learned a lot of things,
Mm-hmm.
and which I have never thought I could do. Like, for example, uh, leading the group myself, because before I always had a male partner who was actually preparing more or less everything. And here I just had to do it by myself, and it was a really good experience for me. Yes.
Okay.
And after that, when I left Kaladance, after this school, it wasn't that hard for me to continue on my own, because I can lead and I can follow. And when you know both roles, you understand the dance better and you can teach both. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
okay.
Do you feel there's a big difference between men and women in how they are in the work? I mean, in the as a working, subject. Like, do you think that there is a big difference between a man working in tango and a woman working in tango? And if so, what?
Well, maybe not a big difference because first of all, we all are human, and we have some rules our bodies work on, and our mind work on. And
I think we lost Elena. Let's
um,
wait. Oh, there you are.
yep.
Okay, wait. I lost you for a second. We lost you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you somehow, but I can't
But
see
you
you.
can't
Can
see
you
me. Yeah,
maybe
I'll
look
try
out
to.
in again?
Yeah, I'll try. Give me a minute.
Okay. So in the meantime, I can tell you, those of you who are listening, that you can ask questions. I can see your comments here, and that next week I will be having another conversation again. And this time, my guest will be Sofia Saborido. It will be at 7:30 EEST instead of at 6, as these two previous ones have been. So I'm hoping that you can join us again. And now Elena is back, so I will show her,
Hello.
and we will continue with the conversation. Okay, nice, good. So we
Yeah.
were talking about the differences between men and women, and you were basically telling me that there weren't any differences. Um,
Yeah, I mean, in the big general way, there isn't a lot of difference for me, because usually to everyone I tell more or less the same things. But of course, there are differences which are connected to the role in
mhm,
the dance, because men have to plan everything, and when they plan, they sometimes forget to really stay in connection, and to enjoy what they are doing. And it usually takes a little bit more time to understand how to do that, how to still plan some things and to still stay with the partner and with music. Yes, there are some specifics, of course, but in general, for me, all people are more or less the same.
Yeah. Okay. So, how do you feel? How do you see the role of women in tango today in the dance, but also in the industry? Do you feel like the women have a more protagonist role than they used to, or not? What are your thoughts?
Yes, I think it changes a lot, and it changed for the last, I don't know, 10, 20 years. Well, 20 years ago, I haven't been dancing yet, but I can imagine, and I have image of what it was before, and all of us know how it started. And first, men were important, women too, of course, but much less than now. And now I think it changes, and it's more about equality. It's more about 50-50 and the partnership in the dance. And while in industry, because we have this balance, we have more women, and usually to be competitive and to survive, they start to do more. They start to dance more, to take more classes, to develop more. And at some point, some women, they feel they can give something to others,
Mm.
so they start teaching, and if they don't have partner, they teach by themselves. So yeah, I think it's everywhere in the world now is like that, but in Moscow especially, yes, we have a lot of female dancers
Mm.
who teach by themselves.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice. What do you feel it's important in a tango partner? Like, what is it that you search for in your partnership, tango partnership?
um, we have to understand each other
Mm-hmm.
in a human way, uh, or in tango way,
Mm-hmm.
because I had different versions of this thing, and it's interesting, always interesting to connect to other person. But um, to work in tango, first of all, we have to feel good while dancing. That's
Of
important.
course. Mm.
Yes, to create this magic, we have to be able to create this magic together, not just talk about this magic. And after that, we have to have the same values, like we have to want the same things and to go to the same direction. And for me, it's important that it's a nice person,
Mm.
nice person that we can talk to and discuss things, different things.
Mm. Can
Yeah.
you tell us a little bit about your maestros, like who has been an influence to you in your tango? We didn't talk about that before. I kind of skipped through one question,
Yeah.
but now coming back
That's
to
okay. That's your call.
it.
um, the most important person for me in tango world is Graciela Gonzalez.
Graciela González.
Yes, and I try to take classes with her uh, where and when I can. And each time she's able to give something, to add something, and not just to tell me how it works. For me, the value of classes with her is that I change, and I feel I change after these classes. I don't really, usually, first, I don't know what exactly has changed. So I take this class, I feel something different, and then I go to understand. I go to dance with it, to try to develop it, and to analyze it actually. And after I analyze it in myself, I try to build it into my dancing and to give it to my students actually after I understand it myself. So yes, I think she's the most important person for me. But of course, I take classes from all the couples and all dancers I like in tango, like
Mm-hmm.
Sebastian and Roxana, of course, Javier and Moira. Somehow, I took classes from them when they weren't together yet,
Mm-hmm.
but somehow both of them added a lot to my dancing. And it's not always you have to take a lot of classes to take something. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes you take one and you understand more than the previous 5 years. They add
Yeah.
this last drop. Yeah, so a lot of teachers actually, but Graciela I think is the most important for me. And in here in Russia, I didn't take a lot of classes, but Irina Petrichenko has added a lot to my dancing, especially at the first years of
Mm-hmm.
my dancing. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. So, you worked in Russia and in other countries in Eastern Europe and also lately here in Finland. So, what do you think are the main differences in terms of learning styles between the different places that you have taught in?
Um, it's an interesting question because there are some cultural things, of
Mm-hmm.
course. When you just begin to talk to a person, ask questions. What do you want? What is your background, and so on. To understand what actually you can do together. Um, in each country and even in each city there are some different cultural patterns. Like you see that here people are really open, and there people are a little bit closed, and you have to spend more time to to talk to them, to for them to open up. But
Mhm.
then after this first step is done, for me it becomes the same.
Mm,
Because when people let me in, let's say it like that, it becomes the same.
mm,
Because deep inside, humans are more or less the same, and the same things are important to them. And that doesn't really, it's not really connected to the place.
mm.
Yeah, for me it's like that.
Okay, nice. So where do you have like more specific examples onto like, for instance, where do you think that you're telling us that sometimes the beginning part, getting to know the person, like letting them open up to you, it changes from one place to the other, but then after that happened, it's more or less the same. So can you maybe tell us like where do you feel like, as an example, not just because we want to like point towards a particular place, like do you think, for instance, like in the Nordic countries people are a little bit more shy to open up in, like in comparison to, I don't know, Russia or other places? I don't know, I'm just throwing examples that may feel a little logic to me, but reality is not always what one expects, so
Yes, it's like that. You're exactly right, actually. The the colder the country, the more time you have to spend to connect to people, actually. But maybe what differs Russian communities, different Russian communities, Tango communities, for me from non-Russian communities, is this. mm, um, Aiming to work on technique, and aiming to become technically perfect. Because here, I don't know why, but there is this tradition to to work hard. You have to work hard. You have to do hundreds of things just to tell yourself, okay, now you can enjoy a little bit. And people are often um, um, I don't know how, concentrated on working on technique.
Hmm.
And in other countries outside of Russia, I would say it's a little bit different. People are more concerned about feeling good while dancing, and maybe we are not perfect, but we feel good. And sometimes it's good. I love this approach, but sometimes it's bad, because to something really happens, to change something in your body or in your dance, sometimes you have to have this small moment of suffering, you know because you have to try something different, and then to decide if you like it or not. So in this case, sometimes for me, I feel that I'm pushing a little bit. I'm pushing them to try this, and they might perceive it like be I don't know, being um, directive or something.
Hmm.
And here in Russia, for example, I think it's vice versa. I often tell them, relax, just try not to control, just try to let it go and see what happens. Because it's the same thing. You just have to let it happen and then decide if you like it or not. If you don't let it happen, you control everything. Nothing different can come up.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's different approaches, but the aim is the same. So at the end of the day, I want to do the same things in both cases.
Mm. It's very
Yeah,
interesting what you're saying, like these two poles, like one pole of focusing only on the feeling and what feels good, and the other one pole focusing only in the technique, and in a way like you need to find some balance and have
yeah,
it. things. Mm.
Yes, and like any balance, it's hard,
Mm.
but it's worse that we work on looking for it. So balance is maybe I should add this word also to somewhere between elegance and simplicity. Balance is a good thing too. Yeah,
Yeah, nice. So look, now we are coming to an end. I told you that this was gonna
really,
go fast.
it is. It
It's
is.
gonna feel like we were talking only 20 minutes.
Yes, it feels
But
like we just started.
yeah, it's been very interesting and very nice. And I have a short questionnaire of a little bit more short questions. Of course, if at some point you want to go a little bit further into answering any questions, just go for it. Nothing. It's really like pressuring us to finish at 1 hour. And
Okay.
it's a questionnaire that I took from an interview show that I used to watch. It was called the Inside the Actor Studios, and I
Hmm.
adapted it a little bit
Yeah.
into Tango. So, what is your favorite word?
Love,
Love. Same as Noelia. What is your
maybe.
favorite? What is your least favorite word?
Hate.
Hate. What sound or noise do you love?
Um, I love water, like
Water.
the seaside, actually. Yes, more like the seashore. Hmm.
Mhm. Nice. What sound or noise do you hate?
Uh, I hate it in crowded in crowded places when people are shouting, when they are arguing, and when everyone is crying, especially to each other.
Mm. What is your favorite curse word?
Curse,
Curse, like, I don't know, shit.
the bad one. Okay.
A bad word.
Um, I have to think about. I know in Russian. I'm not sure in English, but that would be something like damn.
Okay. What is
I would prefer not to say it.
okay?
It would be too hard.
It's okay. So name a tango that you love.
I Remembranzas.
Hmm.
Yeah, I really
Nice.
love it.
Name a tango that you don't particularly like.
Um, I don't have that actually. I didn't think of it like that, but sometimes I get a little bit bored with tangos of Canaro. Sometimes, not always.
Okay. An orchestra that you love.
Pugliese and D'Arienzo. Well, Pugliese, I think, is
If you have
more.
to choose one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pugliese then.
An orchestra that you don't particularly like.
I don't really have that.
Okay. Maybe Canaro.
Well, if I have to choose among the most popular one, yes, yes, maybe.
A female dancer that you like.
I really love Cecilia Garcia, Ariadna Naveira. Well, a lot.
Mhm.
I would, I would say a lot of names, but these two I think are special for me.
Okay. Nice. A dance couple that inspires you.
Um, well, Roxana and Sebastian,
Mhm.
and not only by their dancing, but they're really nice people.
Mhm.
I love everything about them. How they
Mhm.
teach, how they connect to people, and how they treat each other. Actually,
Mm.
so yes, them.
Nice. So, what profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Um, well, I think at this stage of my life, I would like to try maybe acting. And
Acting.
yes, acting or being a musician. I really love piano. Yes.
What profession would you not like to do?
anything connected to finance and counting, documents, banking, and so on.
So that's what you used to do.
Well, I used to be connected to it. I wasn't really doing this financial thing. I was in
Okay.
project management, but yes, more or less, I had enough.
Okay. Good. So what advice would you give to somebody who is only starting to dance tango?
That's a hard one. I think it depends on where they start to dance, but I would recommend to find people to develop together with. When you have someone who shares your likes, dislikes, beliefs, and who supports you and whom you can support, it really helps because then you stop being afraid to go to milongas and to try different stuff, to try new stuff, and it helps. Yes.
Mm. Okay. Very nice. So, thank you so much for participating, for agreeing with sharing this time with me and with the other people who are listening to this conversation. Will be there in Nadia Daniel Tango page. So, if other people didn't make it today, because I don't know, here in Finland, for instance, it's 1st of May, it's a huge
The
um,
same thing. Yes,
yeah,
the same
it's
thing
a
here.
huge so the video will be there. People will be able to see it, and I think that it's just really interesting to. It was a really nice conversation. It was really nice to hear your experiences, and you were very generous with sharing also a lot of your views.
Thank you, Nadia. Thank you for invitation and thank you for all this project. Actually, it's really nice. I saw the first one and I think I will keep tracking you. So please don't stop. And thank you for this time and for this opportunity. Actually,
Yes. So next week we will have Sofia Saborido with us at 5:30 instead of 6.
oh,
I will of course try to publicize it as much as possible so that people know and can join us. Thank you so much to everyone who watched
thank
us.
you,
Thank you, Elena, and see you around.
thank you, guys. Thank you, guys, and Nadia.
Bye.
Bye.